I return.
Time never stopped away from me. Looking for answers and looking for the clue. Flying the Nobody taught me to hint. Live a happy life of a dream. I'm not waiting for a fortune teller. I feel that my wish will come true. I never thought I had to that far. Is it my treasure? Tell me what I really look for. Fancy came to my mind. It leads me to somewhere far away. Distant place, distant time, fly in a free
Alright, that should be working now.
Alright.
Alright.
Which Pokemon in there, mate?
Oh no, she's Scottish.
How did it pick up that perfectly?
I don't know. I do not know, Smug. I do not know.
Also, high stream. The AI finally gained sapience, so be
Yeah,
afraid.
Welcome to Cafe Autumn, where we don't care who you are as long as you're not a cunt. We have developed an AI so sentient that it's capable of talking back to us.
Shut
God
up,
help
Sozo.
us. God help us all.
Where's my
Also,
Nobel
we
Peace
just-
Prize now?
It was given to the baking soda volcano.
Silence, creator.
Also, we just not gonna talk about the Deancey you had in your piece.
What? What? What do you gotta say about my pet rock? Huh? What do you gotta say about my pet rock, huh?
Oh, I don't have much to say about your pet rock, except why is there a sentient pink diamond in your computer?
I just told you, it's my pet rock.
Let rock.
It's okay. You can take your time.
But we won't take our time.
Yeah, what do you think this is, Persona?
What the hell, I can take my time in Persona.
I want the tagline for Persona 6 to be hurry up.
Just be hurry the fuck up.
I'm joking. We're never getting Persona 6.
We do, it's called Metaphor!
Oh yeah, we did. Never mind.
It's called metaphor. Oh wait, you know what? I apologize.
When Persona 7.
Never is the time.
You know, it's so weird. People get really mad about that when you're like, can we do anything other than a high school setting? Hi, Murray.
Hey.
That's a weird note to come in on.
So,
Well, you know.
can we have anything other than high schoolers? Hey, Sonic.
Hey, look! It's the Pokemon!
It's the Pokemans.
Nobody tell her. Nobody tell her.
I like Pokemon.
I remember when Sozo was about to name it Express.
He's
I
about to
played
name
so
it.
much Poke Rogue.
A critical hit? No!
Oh bother.
Dion. Hey!
Yo, that man some honey, Sozo.
I ain't Jay-Z.
No, you're lazy.
She's got me there, chat.
Ah yes, the French hobo.
The French dildo?
Hobo.
I heard you say
gotta be a
dildo.
hobo.
I should probably get on my computer. My phone comes to muffle my wording.
Yo, I can't.
Goof. The people in my phone are messing with me.
I have people in my phone that mess with me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, sounds like you problem there, Chief.
You just see people slowly back away from you.
Yeah. I don't know why I changed my profile picture to Toa Herschel. I just know that she's my favorite girl in the Trails of Cold Steel games, and I relate to her heavily. Actually, that explains why I changed my profile picture to Toa Herschel. Never mind, I know why. Carl!
Oh yeah, that's right. I almost killed you. Anyway.
Why did you just full pick Carl?
Why not?
They
What
wanted
my
to
freaking
female.
Vulpix? Look what happened to my Vulpix. It is crushed the bejesus and back.
It's Kuzco.
Why did you name a female Vulpix Carl?
Again,
You can
why
have
not?
two things.
Oh yes, the Razor. The Razor for Kuzco.
Will you stop eating my Pokemon?
Never
Reasons
forget,
I-
everyone, Pokemon will be yeeted!
The reasons I should throw this Pokemon into the river. I don't want it. The river's
Just
right
bitch
there.
This bitch empty. Yeet. Oh yeah, sick of this little brat.
This is why your parents are getting a divorce.
Ah yes. You sent that panda to the death. I once made a slip up when I was DMing a campaign for my friends in D&D, where I said a potion shop was a poison shop. They didn't let me live that down for several years.
Oh, the Pot Ion Shop. The funny thing is, you'll never be able to know if it's the voice mod messing up, the fact that English is my second language, or my accent screwing things.
You're American.
So, you do know I wasn't born here, right?
Does that change anything?
The silent Pokeball.
The silence is happening.
Anyway, I'm gonna turn on my computer really quick. I'll be back.
Anyway, back to what we were talking about with high schoolers.
No, that
No.
was out of context. For the record. Yeah, I did kind of just drop that topic hilariously, didn't I? And when people say, do you have a favorite Pokemon? And then I'm just like, I really don't. I kind of just like all of them.
Eevee.
You like Eevee the most?
Oh, that's a comment. Hey, everybody.
If I had to pick an absolute favorite Pokemon, it would be Rayquaza.
If I had to pick an absolute favorite Pokemon, it would be Sylveon.
Eevee.
Eevee.
See, I picked Sylveon because funny colors. Also, it's adorable.
Because of all.
Okay, I have to ask, what's your favorite generation?
Eevee.
Me?
Eevee. Eevee is my favorite generation.
Ah, yes. Generation Eevee. It was nothing but Eevees from as far as the active.
If I had to pick my favorite generation, it would probably
Honestly, it
See-
would be. Yeah, go ahead.
You see, I already told people this, but it's definitely X and Y.
Let's go.
We love Gen 6 in this house.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Gen 6 too, because it was the one I started
I
with.
also do love generational sex as well.
Okay. Note to self, don't take a drink when in a call with Sozo.
Yeah, you see, I learned that lesson a long time ago, and it still catches me off guard.
Amateurs.
That's
Generation.
alright. Yeah, you know, like the popular gacha game right now, Pokemon Master 6.
Pokemon Master 6?
Yes, clearly.
You're too late, Red. I am the Pokemon Master Set.
Master 6. I thought there was only 2 genders.
Ah, yes.
It's still an ass!
Velma used Snarl.
Really, use Hate Watch. What is going on with this thing?
Velma used Hate Watch. It's very effective. What the fuck, Mindy Kaling?
I'm sure it's fine.
It's not. The only good thing.
It never was.
Yeah. The only good thing that came out of that was Velma and Daphne, and even that was well executed. I would love to see an actual Yu-Gi-Oh show that has
Jesus
that.
Christ.
Not Yu-Gi-Oh. Not Yu-Gi-Oh. What? Scooby-Doo. Why did my brain go Yu-Gi-Oh? What?
That's on
Okay.
you, bro. That's a skill issue.
I would love to see an actual Scooby-Doo show that actively, you know, does good relationships instead of bad melodrama.
And we call that Harvey Birdman.
You know
I mean,
what?
you're not wrong.
Like, it would be neat for a new Yu-Gi-Oh show to just actually treat the characters well. Not okay. Why am I going Yu-Gi-Oh? Okay, both Yu-Gi-Oh and Scooby-Doo. Okay, yeah, Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo show, treat characters well. Yu-Gi-Oh, also treat your characters well. I'll take advantage of the lapses in my brain.
No, Yu-Gi-Oh! Fuck over your kids.
I like Yu-Gi-Oh! For the simple fact that it's so serious, and
Yeah,
you don't realize.
It depends on the show if it works. Like
Yeah,
Arc
like 5Ds, it works.
Yeah, 5Ds it works. Brains, I'd say it works arguably better than 5Ds. Because God, Brains is a good show.
But then you have the original run, and it's just so funny.
The original run has its moments. For instance, Battle City is probably one of the best arcs Yu-Gi-Oh! Has ever had.
It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Works, unless it's going to be like 5Ds. Yu-Gi-Oh! Can only work in a setting like Battle City. Because if you're trying to tell me that children's card games can decide the fate of the world, I'm going to laugh.
All of life problems as dictated by card games.
Why can I not just walk over and punch you in the face and make you stop?
That's what the Rare Hunters did.
I'll say this. I'll say every show after GX handles the why are card games deciding the fate of the world question very well. Simply because.
Yeah, it's because they explain it as part of the lore.
Yeah. Whereas with GX, it is GX starts working at the end because of the U-Bell shit. Because, you know...
Sozo, why are you kicking a postman's ass?
Sozo,
Because he asked for it.
Stop hurting the truest American hero.
He asked for
It's
it.
just like, unless you beat me in a duel, I'm going to blow up this orphanage. Okay, I
how
could just
about
I could just walk over there,
Yeah,
punch you, and make you stop.
Okay, yeah, but in that theory, Yugi is not a particularly strong person, A. Most of his friends tend to just be preoccupied, and if Yugi were to try, chances are, before Yugi could even get the punch thrown, he'd blow up the orphanage.
Well, see, that explains why Yugi can't do it, but who's to say nobody else can?
Yeah, it's like
See,
Tristan
here's the
and
thing.
Joey are like the size of
question
like
of-
linebackers.
But here's the thing. They tried to solve the problems with physical violence early on in the show, and it never fucking
Well,
worked.
because the writers won't let them, because if they solve it with violence, then there's no card game.
Yeah, but the point there is they try to solve it with violence, and it never works.
If
So
I
they're just
lie,
kinda
is it there? It's because the card game shit up.
You know what? Why couldn't it be like Yu-Gi-Oh! The original manga?
Because Duel Monsters took over the entire series after the chapter it was introduced because it was so popular.
Why am I trying to inject realism into this show about a 10-year-old boy having an ancient prince inside of him or something?
Actually, Yugi is, I think he's 16.
Does it change
That
anything?
does that make it better?
Bull crap, he's 16. Bull crap.
He's in high
Is it-
school.
Is it the hair? It's the hair, isn't it?
Yugi's in high school.
Bull crap, he's 16.
So what I'm hearing is he's a super genius.
Okay. Yugi
I'm-
Muto, the
I'm
protagonist. of the
Googling
Yugi
this
Muto
right
series.
now. I'm Googling this right now. There's no way.
He's a second-year high schooler in the beginning of the show. So he is from the ages of 16 to 17.
That's third year.
Or maybe... okay, 15 to 16 then.
Holy crap.
You can't even figure it out yourself.
She's not wrong.
Yeah, Yugi is 16. He's tiny, but he's 16.
Jeez, Mug, what do you think of that?
I'm going to hurt you.
It's
By
like,
the time, by the time of the movie, he's 18.
Yeah, and he actually did grow up a little bit between the end of the series and Dark Side of Dimensions, which is good. But yeah, it's literally this teenager with an ancient pharaoh inside of him.
Phrasing?
I will not change my wording.
Phrasing? Phrasing?
I know
Phrasing?
what I fucking
Phrasing?
said.
Phrasing? 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 Phrasing?
I know what
Phrasing?
I fucking said. I
Phrasing?
am not taking
Phrasing?
it back.
Phrasing?
What's it gonna be inside of him?
Millennium Puzzle. But okay, so yeah, this teenager with a pharaoh inside of his soul.
There you go.
Okay. With a
This is
pharaoh
just a repeat of
possessing
earlier.
him.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, ayo. Okay, that's fair. But
You know, the one thing Egyptians loved more than anything was owning slaves.
But yeah, this teenager with a pharaoh possessing him, just, you know, at first it's the pharaoh's using his ancient magical powers to absolutely humiliate and murder the people who do his friends wrong. Then Duel Monsters gets introduced.
Yes.
And when Duel Monsters gets introduced, the series goes off the fucking rails. That said, I will say, I think, in terms of shows that have an actual believable, ramping up of stakes for a card game series, I would say this. Cardfight Vanguard's a very good example of the stakes slowly get higher and higher as the show goes on. At first, it really is just Aichi and his friends want to win the national tournament. And they wind up helping mend a friendship in the process. But there's a weird interdimensional power. Then Season 2 introduces the more of the weird supernatural shit. Then by Season 3, it's gone off the rails, but you believe it because it took about 3 seasons to get to that point. So the answer to what should I watch this season? Cardfight Vanguard. Watch the entire 64-episode original season. It's a really good show. It's made by one of Takahashi's assistants.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so Kazuki Takahashi, creator of Yu-Gi-Oh, one of his many assistants from the time working on Yu-Gi-Oh, who wrote like one of the spin-off mangas, went on to create the anime and manga Cardfight Vanguard. Very good show. If I recall correctly, it's Akira Ito. Is it Akira Ito?
It's a nice story, but I don't think that answers your question.
Okay, so Kazuki Takahashi is the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's nice.
Oh,
That's nice, but I don't think that
okay.
answers the question.
I ain't even gotta say shit. Let him flounder.
I said Takahashi, and she went, who? And I explained Takahashi, then went on to...
Okay, to be fair, he did actually answer.
Me... Yes.
Yes,
I-
Takahashi, but who the fuck is the assistant?
The assistant is Akira Ito.
Who?
He created... Give me a second. If I recall correctly...
I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, he worked as an assistant to Kazuki Takahashi. He worked on the manga Yu-Gi-Oh! R.
What?
Don't know what that...
Just
There's
know
a-
that joke that I was about to say was about as bad as Russian Badger's Black Panther joke.
The sheer amount of confusion. I just know various things because I randomly stumbled upon a card game anime when I was 8, and it's still one of my hyperfixations.
Does anybody here know what .hack is?
Yes.
Can somebody explain that to me? Is that just like Sword Art Online progenitor or...
No, it is not.
It's online, but a ripoff.
Okay, so .hack. .hack existed in the mid-2000s. It was a major multimedia project by Bandai Namco. Basically, what it is that a bunch of players in an MMO wind up noticing some really weird shit going on in the MMO. And unlike Sword Art Online, these players can just actually choose to stop playing, but the problem is that the weird shit going on in the MMO has a chance to leak out of the MMO and into the real world.
I can't believe .hack ripped off a show well before its time. Now what the fuck?
Yeah, I can't believe it's like when Earthbound ripped off Undertale. Jeez.
Yeah, crazy, right?
True. .hack came out in 2003. It saw the future and it was like, I'm gonna rip off SAO, except I'm gonna do something completely different.
I love the phrase. I love the phrase. Unlike SAO, they can stop playing the game at any time. but they just stay in there, like their
it's not that
sense
they
of
stay-
preservation.
It is not that they stay in there. It is literally one of the main gameplay features within the games that, you know, like the actual video games, is in between your visits to the MMO, you are given the chance to just exist on the player character's computer. You can go through forums, and that's one of the ways you gain side content and main story content. You scour through forums to find keywords that lead to new areas. It's actually a very interesting mechanic. But basically, it is really just people can choose to stop playing all the time. Matter of fact, they usually do. But there are some weird instances where, if very specific conditions are met, a person who dies in the game might actually die in real life. It is unclear.
Okay, that seems like something I would be telling the moderator staff about.
Oh,
I
no!
wanted my subscription back.
Nor moderation, nor moderation.
Oh yeah, here's the thing. People do. Dot hack is one of the most logical instances of the game kills you idea. The problem is, it takes place in a hyper-capitalist society, so they're like, is this a thing that can be easily replicated? And if the answer is no, they're not gonna patch it.
Well, wouldn't a realistic situation be like, we're all gonna stop playing this game and go play something else?
You'd think that, but
See,
but here's
That's the thing that bothers me about SAO also. It's like, it treats it like SAO is the only game ever to exist in their entire world. Like, they could just stop, just go play something else.
MMO addiction is a real thing.
Yeah.
Nobody here would know anything about that, would they?
What
What are you
No, what are you
talking
talking about?
about? I've played
Goes
the
back to
entirety...
Eorzeum.
I was about to say, I've played the entirety of A Realm Reborn to Endwalker in like 4 or 5 months. So.
Yeah,
He's not
so,
addicted, though.
Yeah,
No,
FF14,
totally not.
FF14 is a very good example of there are things in it, or actually, launch FF14 is a very good example of stop and go play something else is not something that most MMO players tend to actively practice. It's like, I invested time in this game. Even if there is a bug that can kill me, I'm probably not gonna encounter it. So I'm just gonna keep playing as normal. Again, it uses logic, and that's what's refreshing about it compared to SAO. Because SAO is, again, yes, logically speaking, you can get the sunk cost fallacy in that, but again, in most instances, the logical situation for SAO is to wait for speedrunners to clear the game.
Yeah, because SAO pretends like there aren't players in MMOs that are like decked out so bad that they like speedrun the new content to try to get the world first.
But yeah, if I recall correctly, the initial reason that SAO is every player is so underleveled is because it is literally launch day when the series starts.
That's a skill issue.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I was like, if they can just, that's the other thing that bothered me. It's like, if it's an MMO and all the MMO rules still apply, why can't everybody just, like, grind until they're max level and then just brute force it?
I mean, why don't you just start out as max level? I just don't fucking get what the problem is.
Alright, Kirito, shut up.
Kirito doesn't start as max level. He starts pretty damn close to it, but he's not max level.
He was still a beta tester, so
He's still a masturbator.
See, and the crazy thing about that too is they ignored a very crucial realistic detail that beta testers are given special options to help them, like actual cheat codes. So apparently Kirita was more Q&A than actual beta tester.
Yeah, Kirito. I mean, okay. Here's the thing. Beta tester is used as a catch-all in a lot of instances. I'm not saying it's correct. It's just the situation and circumstance. Because a QA tester is still technically a beta tester. You are still testing the beta to find bugs that need to be ironed out. It's not all beta testers are QA testers, but all QA testers are beta testers.
Well, every FUFO time is a TP time, but every TP time is a FUFO time. Sorry. Wait, I said that backwards, didn't I?
You might have said it
Yes.
backwards, but it doesn't matter. It still got the point across. Anyway. I own Dot Hawk. Dot Hawk? What?
Yes,
I'm
not
Dot
October.
Dot Hack! I own Dot Hack GU Last Recode on my Switch, and that's one of the big reasons I know about Dot Hack. It is a good series. It's a good game series. I would recommend it. But I would also say, emulate the original 3 games. Never try to find physical copies of them because they are hard to come by and they are expensive.
Ah, yes, the typical scalper curse.
What about the
So this just in on
re-release
a
collection?
stream where I'm streaming a Nintendo game, Pirate.
Yeah.
There was
Not
like
Nintendo
a
games. Don't pirate Nintendo games. Pirate Bandai Namco. They don't deserve it anyway.
There you
There
go.
was-
That's the spirit.
Anyway.
there was like a remaster or a remake collection
Okay,
or something.
So that is Dot Hack GU. Is a different that is a series. The original Dot Hack games are just Dot Hack. It's like Dot Hack Infection, Dot Hack. I don't remember the subtitles, but it is basically it follows basically the player character, the main character of Dot Hack, of the original 3 Dot Hack games, is his avatar is the villain of Dot Hack GU.
So it probably doesn't make sense to start with GU then, is what I'm hearing.
GU, a lot of people is generally recommended if you want the full context to a lot of the story to the original 3. But there isn't any easily accessible. Which sucks, because the original 3 games are very good.
So what I'm hearing is basically it's like a Tales of Symphonia versus New World situation.
I own a Wii copy of Dawn of the New World, is the funny thing.
See, it's so weird because Dawn of the New World is kind of like one of those guilty pleasure games I put on.
See, I'll say this. Dawn of the New World and Tales of Symphonia are not hard to access, you just need a PS3. That's just the case. They haven't remastered Dawn of the New World, I don't know why, but hey.
I know why. It's not a very good game.
I don't think it's a bad game. A lot of people hate it because of the protagonist. I don't hate Emil. I actually really enjoy Emil. I think you don't always need the, oh, I'm a badass protagonist. Sometimes you want to play as a wet napkin of a person.
I think it was more that they sort of just.
What was your taste in men again?
I
Wet
think it was.
napkin?
Yes.
I don't think it's that that Emil was entirely bad. I think that might be part of it. But I think the other half is
Lots of
that they
complaints.
kind of portray Lloyd as like a villain for 90% of it.
It's less that they portray Lloyd as a villain, it's more that from Emil's perspective, Lloyd is a villain, because he doesn't know the actual truth of what happened. It takes a bit for the game to actively tell you what actually happened, but the only reason Emil does view Lloyd as a villain is because he doesn't know the full story and that someone was impersonating Lloyd.
That's the thing that bothered me a lot. I was hoping it would be like what do you call it? A misunderstanding or something. Instead of like, oh, there's just two and one's a fake Lloyd.
I didn't hate the fake Lloyd plot twist because I do enjoy Dawn of the New World story. I think Dawn of the New World story is fascinating because it does explore the consequences of the journey of Symphonia. There is a lot of consequences that occurred because of what happened at the end of Symphonia. And that's kind of a big deal. And a lot of people, and you know, at the end of a JRPG, usually, they don't really focus on the consequences. They tend to just focus on, oh, we saved the day. We saved the world. We replanted the world tree. Let's not focus on the fact that probably hundreds of thousands of people were displaced. Probably hundreds of thousands of people were placed into dangerous areas out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's all interesting, but you know what? Blood Berseria instead.
Yes, Berseria is good. Berseria is very good.
Berseria actually has the entire thing that Dawn of the New World tried to do, right? Because which one was it that is that game, that sister game? Was it Zestiria?
Okay, Berseria is actually a prequel.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Yeah. It is a prequel to Zestiria, yes. But yes, I do think that Berseria is good. Berseria is not my favorite, though. And the main culprit for that is Velvet.
It's okay. Sozo gave up on Arise, and I love Arise.
I love Arise, too. I love Alphen. He's great. I made it to the second half, and I stopped, but then I got my PS5.
You probably stopped at a good point then, because there's one part where the game just goes off the rails, and I face-palmed so hard.
Yeah, I know the part you're talking about. That's where it lost me. I beat the game, but that's where it lost me.
I enjoy Arise's story. I love when Tales games jump the shark.
It wasn't really jump the shark. It was more like, are you freaking serious right now? It was like a stupid, like what they tried to retcon in their own story immediately with the villains.
I haven't gotten there, but I'll figure it out myself when I inevitably replay Arise.
I full on dropped Arise because 100%, like, you already know my thoughts on fucking Ruby's take on what they were trying to do. Exactly same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that didn't help either.
See, there's the thing. I'm actually a fan of Ruby, unapologetically.
You poor soul.
Burn the heretic.
I'm unapologetically a fan of Ruby, and I am never going to apologize for loving that show.
Ruby sucks at fucking prejudice and racism. I'm full stop. That's not even, like, an opinion I have.
Oh,
That's
no,
a
you're not.
fact.
You're not incorrect.
Like, it genuinely, anybody wants to see, like, what I'm talking about, just watch Code Geass.
Sometimes you just want to watch a bad portrayal of prejudice and racism because it's
Whoa, what do you mean by that?
appealing
Whoa,
than
what do you mean by
Okay,
that?
hold on. You are in the call with 3 melanated people here.
What do you mean?
what I mean-
Hold on.
What I mean is
What do you mean by
sometimes you want to watch a show with a bad portrayal of it because sometimes you don't want to get hit in the face with what is real.
No, he is sweaty right now. It's so bad. I bet.
You're gonna need a generator for all this backpedaling, man.
It's that Key and Peele meme, just the whole water.
I'm not not even
Just-
backpedaling. That was what I was actually going to say.
Sure. Yeah, sure it was. Sure it was before we started going. Before we started calling you the fuck out on it.
See,
I was actually
watching
going to say
Discord.
that before y'all started calling me out. I'm being
No.
serious.
No, you're good. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
No, watching Discord as soon as Marie said that, and then just everybody's name lit up in green.
Discord crashes.
And Discord crashes. I was saying the word prejudice in a respectful economic context.
Fuck day.
Genuinely, it is a thing of...
We understand what you're saying.
Sometimes you just don't want to see something that is accurate to the real world because you don't want to be sad. Sometimes you just want to laugh at how badly written it is.
You can also laugh by how real it is.
Yeah. I don't like laughing at how real something is because it makes me sad.
Real?
That, honestly, 100% it sounds like a skill issue.
I don't care if it's a skill issue. It is me. I am the skill issue.
Just up and admit. Just up and admit.
Alright,
It is a skill issue.
Clip it.
And I am
She's a walking skill
trash.
issue. She's a walking skill issue. Clip it.
It is a skill issue, and I am trash.
It is a skill issue. I am trash and I am proud.
Is that what she calls it?
Oh yeah, I know that. The game journalist motto, right? I am trash and I am proud.
See, okay, I'm not trash at video games. I'm trash at life.
Yeah, but that's
I
just
can
easy.
say that.
Everyone's
I can
trash
say
at
that. I'm a games journalist. I can say that.
That's fair. But yeah.
No, you're not. You're a good games journalist. There's a difference.
Well, hey, yeah, I actually talk about games. What are you talking about?
You actually
Yes,
play the
absolutely.
fucking games right.
Yeah, I actually play the game.
Yeah, in the instance of movie, I just like laughing at bad portrayals of it because it is very much it's overly simplified to the extent that I can't really take it a lot seriously, and that is a refreshing thing because I have to be in a very specific mood to watch something like Code Geass that actively portrays prejudice, racism, and stuff.
But
like that.
realistically,
It really drains me.
it reminds me of seeing this stupid 4chan post on V about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it said, looks like the 11s are buying the game.
The what?
The 11s. Oh god. See, I can laugh at that shit. Also, they'll just let anybody be a gym leader now.
Probably not. He's cool.
No, I know he's cool.
Very beefy too. What?
It's either one with the hot moms.
No, that's later.
Wait.
Look, we
Wait.
aren't at Nessa yet. You can't go feral.
Oh yeah, the hot mom. Melanie.
I mean,
She's-
Opal's got it going on.
I love that Melanie is only a gym leader in Shield. They literally said you're gonna fight her son in Sword.
Got a problem with that? You buy
Yeah,
shield
but-
then, fucker.
Yep, I didn't sword
was my
get D or
intention.
something.
The intention is to buy Shield because I like Melanie.
You like melons?
Yeah, so does the internet.
Yes.
I mean, she's got those in spades, you know what I'm saying?
God damn it.
I like how Pokemon is just so unrelentingly down with its older women. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
We're talking about this.
Pokemon
Meanwhile, my
says-
Pokemon has been reported to have AIDS. Anyway,
Pokemon says, "Hey, would you like to see MILFs?"
MILF, you say? Tell me more.
Let's see, this is a children's franchise game freak.
I mean, they're called
This
Game
is a
Freak.
Japanese children's franchise.
The children here love MILF.
See, that's the thing.
Don't clip that. That was awful.
clip it.
This is a
So,
children's,
edit that out.
this is a
I'm
children's
not editing
franchise.
shit. You made
I
your
get
bed
it,
now.
shit.
If anything, Sozo's going to isolate that clip. Mawile.
And no megastones.
But yeah, yeah, it is very much like Pokemon. Very funny because, yes, the Japanese children's series that consistently has very attractive women in it. Fucking Skyla. Cynthia. Sonia.
6 out of 10.
You sassy bitch.
Professor Juniper, I'd say. 'Cause Professor Juniper is pretty.
I still love the stupid joke that I know there are juniper trees, but she was named after a bush.
Ah.
I know that didn't come through, but it's okay.
Look,
Mainly because I can just do this. Yeah, see? Oh, Super Mario RPG, I like it.
good taste.
You literally had not played Thousand Year Door until last year.
Just Yoko
We have
Shimomura's,
this.
Yoko Shimomura's music is just... There's something ethereal about it in every game she's composed.
Yeah, I know, as a Kingdom Hearts fan.
Yeah, I've played it all.
Yeah.
Wait, let's actually count these. Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories, 2, Birth by Sleep, through 5-8. Let's see.
I think she's just the series composer, honestly. So
I
I'll
know she is the series composer.
Yep.
0.2 Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Sorry, I'm reminded of Barrett naming all the Bahamut's in Machinabri.
Bahamut 7, Bahamut Mark 10.
Kingdom Hearts.
And finally, after years of Bahamut Hearts.
Yeah, there's like 13 Kingdom Hearts games, and I've played a majority of them.
But you guess how long it took in between 2 and 3?
If I recall correctly, 2 releases.
No. No more.
Damn it, Nomura. 13.
2 released in 2005. Kingdom Hearts 3 released in 2019. That's actually 14 years.
But still, 13 Kingdom Hearts games.
Yes.
Soon to be 14.
Yeah. A Realm Reborn.
Kingdom Hearts: A Realm Reborn.
Where
That
is
is
my
kind of what Kingdom Hearts 4 is the weird thing.
where is my Pokemon game where it's just these little side activities?
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
That would be, yeah, Pokemon Snap.
But yeah. Yeah, actually, I think, wait. Okay, yeah, because there's 3 numbered titles, right? I know that. So let's go over the non-numbered titles really quick. Chain of Memory, 358, Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance, Key, Key Back Cover, Dark Road, 0.2.
Well, technically 0.2 is numbered, isn't it?
I don't count it.
It's not to me.
So far,
Well, it's in the dark realm, so
11. That's 11 titles right now.
and the fact it's only like 2 hours.
Unchained Key. Oh, Recoded. I forgot Recoded!
Don't worry, everybody did.
I was about to say no more when he was writing 3.
Yeah, genuinely. There are exactly 13 Kingdom Hearts games right now.
Symbolism.
Or, more accurately, there are 12 Kingdom Hearts games and 1 movie.
Don't forget Missing Link, actually. So that would be...
Missing Link ain't out yet.
Well, yeah, but neither is 4, so...
Yeah, hence why it's gonna be 14 and 15 when the movie release. I wasn't counting 4. I'm only counting the games that have released so far in terms of
I'm counting.
Oh, look at that little Bidoo, just happy to be here. Burn
For
it.
the record, I cannot hear how this thing sounds, so if it comes off way more hostile than I mean to, I apologize.
You sound like you're high.
Yeah, I figured.
You sound like you're high and like your voice is going through a garble.
So high.
Yeah,
There.
I try to enunciate with it, but it also doesn't like my accent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Truly though.
Wait, that's an actual accent and not the voice mod?
This
I wasn't gonna question it until you... To be fair, I didn't question it once until you brought it up.
Google, how do I strangle somebody through the phone?
What you want to do is find an interdimensional portal.
What you want to do is go to your local Rite Aid.
You know, I would love to see a proper Ultimate Spider-Man remake made by a game studio.
You know, without the comic writers involved at all.
No, actually, the 2005 game, the one that, you know.
They're the one who plays Venom.
Yeah, I want to see like an actual remake of that because I don't. Okay, here's the thing. Comic writers, yes. Zeb Wells, no.
There we go.
Joe Quesada, no. Dan Slott is a firm maybe. Brian Michael Bendis is an artist that I would absolutely say yes to including in a
This-
writing team for.
Do like Disney is trying to do now, using necromancy and revive Stan Lee.
I don't think they. I don't
They
think
would.
that-
They would.
They would. They would use necromancy to try and revive Stan Lee, but at that point I would just stop playing, buying Marvel shit.
I like how that's the breaking point.
Essentially.
Listen, what if they're at least semi-creative with Marvel, and the moment they start reviving dead people to beat a dead horse, that's when I'm done.
That just reminds me of that depressing documentary that got made.
Yeah, and even that was exploitative towards Stanley's memory.
Extremely.
You mean the one that's currently on fucking Kickstarter?
Yeah.
That didn't get made. That was in the process of getting made, and they wanted a Kickstarter for it, and it got outed as exploitative.
Well, that's good then. I feel like it's struggling because this is an AI voice. This voice mod not do just like normal voice changer stuff.
Depends, really. A lot of voice mod stuff is very voice effect driven. For instance, say that I had voice mod installed on my computer and I wanted to do like an echo, that would be really easy to do.
I mean, you don't need voice mod installed on your computer. You can just do it right now.
You can just echo.
I mean, it's pretty simple, honestly. They recently added it.
But he invited T-Pay to the call.
Let's look things up right now, because I could buy Silent Hill 4 for $7.
So, 4, that's like...
what a lot of people consider to be the last good one. I am not one of those people. Not in the sense that I don't think it's good, but in the sense that I don't think it's the last good one.
Downpour existed, so...
Downpour was shit.
You watch your mouth.
You make a noise, Anastasia, I will gag you.
Fool, I didn't say all that hard. Photo made that way more for my women. I meant it too.
Hey, wait a minute now.
Wasn't it? Was it not?
But yeah,
That was a joke, by the way. I understand there's a lot of problems with Downpour.
Yeah, you're fine. But yeah, my personal favorite Silent Hill game so far, because I haven't played a lot of them, right? I've played a little bit of 2. I played a little bit of original 2, all of 2 remake. I've played a little bit of 3.
You see, the only problem I had with 2 remake, everything was amazing. Not a fan of the new combat. I was more...
But only because I feel very... I feel very limited. In a way that... I feel very limited by 2 remakes combat in a way that I didn't feel...
It's not that it's there or that it's actually good now. It's that I feel like because it was kind of janky, that it emphasized more of the survival element of don't fight unless you have to.
I would also say that 2 remakes did as well. In this is my personal opinion, right? Like, I think
Right, it's perfectly fine.
like 2 remake has the, because of the fact that it was made in Unreal Engine 4 or not 5, there is a lot of jank to it, and I think there is a lot of intentional jank. Notice how a lot of James' animations feel sluggish. How yes, he may know how to use a gun in this now, but he's not good with a gun. He just knows how to use one.
Also, on a side note, in regards to the game, can you imagine having to live near one of these stadiums?
You just see giant Pokemon just rising from the stadium.
Oh, good. We're actually talking about the giant kaiju Pokemon.
It's just like, you just see this really big, dopey-looking Pikachu.
Look, bro, I'm trying to sleep right now.
It's 3 in the fucking morning. Take your Dynamax bullshit off to the next continent.
Cause yeah, I love the look of Gigantamax and Dynamax Pikachu.
My goodness. It's huge.
Oh man, they're using such great Dynamaxing. What spectacular battle is this? Shut the fuck up!
I got time for some of us work the night shift.
If I recall correctly, recently GOG did a lot of preservation work with Silent Hill 4.
Well, that was disappointing.
Use Gigantamax! Someone's just watching from someone's just looking at the window of their house and they just see a giant Vulpix and they're like, oh no.
God, the day I feared was soon arrive.
We will be trampled by the Pokemon that we swore to love. It is over. Humanity is lost.
Humanity received a grim reminder. Now if only the crowd would shut the hell up.
It was on that day that humanity received a grim reminder. We were cattle. Pikachu. Predator. Just all you hear is Pika from the
Pika.
Just a giant Pikachu stomping his way through a goddamn city.
Which is
Wasn't
great.
there like an old commercial that did that?
Yes, actually. I just can't remember what it was, but I know it existed.
Just a giant Pikachu destroying a city. Eldegoss! Hello, would you like that hot dog? No, I would not. Well, goodbye, Cusco.
He threw off his groove.
You're off my groove. Beyonce. I do love the idea. Just a person looking out their window, watching from like the stadium, seeing this giant Pokemon. The day of fear has finally arrived.
They used to somebody looks at him like he's crazy. What do you mean? This, oh, right, the match is getting on at hand. He's like, you mean this is normal?
Just, it's a person from another region.
Oh, you're new here.
Just Red shows up. The day I feared is finally at hand.
He pulls out a Master Ball. I'm gonna catch it.
It'll just be normal when you release it, though. What do you mean by that? That's the thing that happens here. You can now catch Pokemon up to level 25. Magical Leaf!
Eldegoss, use bibbity bobbity boo. That's not a move. Oh, right.
Man, video games are cool.
Well, don't everyone speak all at once.
That's fine.
Like games.
I choose to stay silent.
Favorite? You enjoy games?
Is it? What's your favorite game? Nothing. Fuck you.
you. That depends. What's your least favorite game?
It's just,
What is your...
Yeah, what's your favorite game?
Hmm?
What's your favorite game? Whatever your least favorite game is.
Honestly, my personal favorite is Xenoblade.
Oh, it's
Nine
Xenoblade.
Souls.
Nine Souls is really good.
Evie.
Hey, Evie.
Ah, yes. Ah, a fan of Let's Go Eevee.
Sozo doesn't do well with these streamer questions, does he?
A connoisseur of culture.
Tensions of the stream begin to rise. The only person I can trust is Chocho, the talking Pokemon that only I can see.
You say him talking about Pokemon.
He's like, you know,
Okay.
check out the Sozo. You've got to burn them all. Burn everything.
Burn everything to the ground!
Get rid of them. Get rid of them all.
My God, he's being attacked by the news people.
My God, it's TMZ.
No. That's an insult to these folks. I apologize.
Pulling a joke in. Whoa, where'd the health? Oh, there one. I forgot the models vanished for some moves.
Oh, it's so cute. I want to give it a hug.
I wrote in. I remember writing something in the like the spoiler chat in Kagana's server of like, this is the Trails series. If you're a villain, you're either irredeemably evil or awaiting your redemption. There is no in between.
Went for rain.
Huh?
Is it worked for rain?
Green?
Not Lean. I forgot her name. Whatever.
Whichever, the fat bitch. That one.
Whichever one has the horrific, traumatic backstory with the purple hair.
Ren?
Yeah.
Yeah, technically speaking, I wouldn't even say she was a villain, I'd say... Because, here's the thing.
She murdered so many people.
Weissman...
Yeah, but what else is new?
Weissman is a villain. The other Ouroboros enforcers are antagonists.
Potato.
The issue with Ren is that, you know, Sky the Third happens, and it makes it clear. A lot of this is just a trauma response.
You can't be mad at my genocide. It was a trauma response.
I mean, I'ma be real. With Ren specifically, that is kind of the case.
Oh yeah, I understand, but her backstory is horrific.
Yeah, like,
But she's
Jesus
hot, so I
Christ.
don't care.
Whoa!
She's
Oh, no,
Don't say
no.
that unless you know the
No.
character.
And also, even in Daybreak, where she is a grown woman at that point, I still don't agree with the fucking sexualization that Falcom does with
Oh
her.
my god, yeah, they really knew they kind of... her specifically, for some reason.
Yeah. Why does she have a goddamn Grimcat outfit?
Because you jerk off to it, that's why.
Well,
Sex
oh,
sells.
that dang, fella. That's
Sex
just
sells.
in the dark.
Are you telling me that's not why so many of these JRPGs are over-sexualized? Are you telling me that's not...
Okay, here's
That's about as grim dark as you can get.
the context with Ren specifically. Child brothel.
Hey, what? I mean, beggars can't be choosers.
Okay, you're doing this for content. I know you are. I just picture Sozo after the end of the stream. By the way, that is genuinely fucked up. I did look it up. Holy shit.
Oh no, I know it's fucked up.
Like, yeah.
Still funny, though.
I think it is funny.
It is funny.
Correctly, honestly, I'm gonna be real. I hope they don't censor it too much.
You know they're going to.
Remake.
That's way too dark. You cannot get away with that nowadays. Not even with an M rating.
You couldn't get away with that. You couldn't get away with that in 2007.
Yeah, but the series was a lot more niche back then.
Hell, it is still very niche. The only reason it's even getting as much attention as it is recently is because of Giga.
Giga Cuck?
Shitty Giga Cuck.
But yeah, genuinely though, I hope they do what Evolution did, which is, despite the fact that it was dummied out, it was censored, but it wasn't censored overly. You know what I mean? It was censored just enough to avoid an adults-only rating, but they still dummied it out.
I understand what you're saying. To leave enough context to where you get, oh, this is what happened, but
Like,
you don't have to go
the
in full
shot
detail.
of, the shot of Ren, when Live and Joshua find her. Instead of it being completely darkness, you can't exactly tell what's going on, but you know that Ren is naked. What they did was they put a blanket over her. Like, just enough to cover a majority of her body, but you still see her leg where the cross cuts are. It's just enough to censor it to the point where it's not going to be, you know, blocked from release, but it still makes it clear the actual context.
The series is depressing.
Oh, it absolutely is.
I remember asking somebody, I was like, does do the good guys ever win? And they're like, not really.
See, the thing here is, it's only Sky, right? It is only Sky 3rd that goes that bad. Then, there are some depressing moments later on in the series, but it's not that bad. For instance, I would say the Cold Steel games are very... They're a lot more, you know, lenient on the...
Yeah.
But, when they go dark, they go dark.
What are you talking about? I was just told this was just medieval Persona.
But yeah, for instance, one of my favorite moments in, the games after Sky 3rd is in Daybreak 1. The Sky 3rd trauma comes back in full force.
You're just gonna let that
This is
stew.
awkward. Yeah, I was gonna say,
It's like you're
this
just
is
gonna let
awkward.
that stew.
Sorry, I'm still thinking about beggars can't be choosers.
Shitty. Oh my gosh, sus. I'm sorry, that name's amazing, and you're all just not as funny as I am.
But yeah, I was playing through... Zero and Azure is just... Honestly, Zero and Azure are peak trails.
See, I would play Trails. There's just so many games, and I just don't care. I don't mean that as like as a slight against the series or like anybody who likes them. I'm sure they're amazing games.
Well, considering that the first game is getting a remake soon, you can hop on the train fresh without having to worry about going through all of the games, because you can just wait as games get released, and then you can buy the games that are on consoles otherwise.
I thought you were gonna say, "Oh, then you should fake being a fan."
I'm just waiting for the smug of the, you know, I'm actually doing something later, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to.
It would appear, although there was a placeholder. I don't know if it's a placeholder release date. There was a release date for the remake recently listed on a website, September 25th.
Me trying to start a long-running franchise that I haven't already been invested in is an almost impossible task. You can ask Arashi about Warframe.
That is fair.
Yep.
But yeah,
I haven't shipped her down yet.
yeah,
Anyway.
I started Trails with Sky first chapter. Actually look this up because I want to see when I got these achievements. Okay, so I started in January of 2023 or December of 2020. I started in December of 2022. Beat the first game in January of 2023. I went through the second game also in January of 2023. If I recall. Oh yeah. I played through the first chapter of the second game fucking the same day that I beat the first game. Then I started the third game the same month as I beat the first two, right? But I ultimately stopped after the first chapter. I came back in October of 2023. Stopped again. I came back in January of 2024. And that's when I finally beat the third game in the series. Then I beat Trails from Zero in January 2024. Trails to Azure in January of 2024 as well. And I would have to launch my PS4 to actually look at the days that I beat.
I think I'm off. Give out. Good
Alright.
night.
Good night.
Stop fighting me.
No, but seriously, see you later. Okay, so I'm just gonna come out and say it. Team Yell is basically Eagles fans.
Yeah.
That is true, though.
Yeah.
I live in PA. I know that well.
So, why is all of Gala on fire? Monty lost.
Why is all of Galar on fire? Marnie won. The illusion of free will.
Indeed.
Why are you ramming into that woman on your bike?
He knows what she did.
What did she do? I don't know what she did. I'm gonna head out. I might ram.
So about
Oh, I
beggars
gotta
can't be
go.
choosers.
Oh my God's sake!
You had not.
I was good. I might be heading off here in a little bit. Yeah. All right. Catch you later.
Yeah.
Beggars can't be choosers. My ass. Yeah, that's how I'm gonna leave on that.
What should I do for content? Man. Also, if anyone's like, after all of that, wondering, it's just like, oh man, why aren't you talking about like the Trails of series and whatnot? I don't really care for it. I don't really care for the Trails of series. In fact, I'm actually kind of finding more that I really don't care that much for both, like, JRPGs and turn-based strategies all that much anymore. Like, granted, there are some games I do want to play, like Metaphor, obviously, and considering what might happen next week, there might be something in the cards where I actually can play it, but everything is still kind of up in the air about that. It's kind of been up in the air for a long while, where it's like I had the opportunity to play it or buy it, and it just, things just come up and it just doesn't fucking work out. Yeah, but I'm hoping sometime around next week I actually can get the opportunity to buy it, because I actually do want to continue playing Metaphor. But yeah, I don't really find a lot of turn-based strategies all that entertaining anymore. I really don't. Because it's... there's not really... A lot of them, with the way they're handled, don't really utilize much actual strategy. Not really. A lot of turn-based strategy games are not really, like... They don't really live up to the idea in my eyes. Because it's mainly just turn-based exploit games. Turn-based exploit games with resource management. That's really it. And I don't know, I'm just not really for playing that constantly. And I think that's a big part of why I just don't really play Pokemon all too much on here. It's just because, I mean, it's kind of brain dead, because it's baby's first RPG. It really is. It's baby's first RPG, especially in the more later years. There's not really a whole lot of thought that you have to do with it. Oh, is this the right type? Okay, use it. That's kind of it. Sometimes you'll get, you know, sometimes you'll have, like, certain, moments where certain Pokemon will have, like, moves that you just have to... Sometimes Pokemon will have certain moves where you have to react accordingly. Like, sometimes a Pokemon can learn moves that necessarily can be its weakness, or can be its strength. Alright, essentially it's like... How should I put this? Like, sometimes maybe a fire Pokemon could learn a move that's, like, grass type, right? So then, in particular, it's just like, it changes it up a bit. But as far as I can tell, that's about the extent of where it lies in terms of the actual game. Now, playing it with other people is an entirely different thing, because other people are not just accustomed to this, they've figured out in new forms of strategy. This is why I think, like, Pokemon in terms of, like, PvP is a lot more interesting, as opposed to actually just doing stuff like this. Like, genuinely, I just don't really find turn-based strategy games all that fun anymore. I don't. I'll still play them, but it's just like, at some point it becomes more of a chore, as opposed to something I genuinely want to play. That's the thing. That's why usually I tend to argue more to games that have more real-time combat. This is why I'm a big fan of fighting games. This is why I like a number of action RPGs. This is why I like roguelikes. This is why I'll tend to play Marvel Rivals. It's because there is that excitement of being in the now and having to react accordingly. That's what I like. Yeah, it's just... It's hard to really get invested, like, I mean, yeah, there's story and everything, but it's hard to really get invested or interested, in my eyes, to a game that feels very much like, it puts my brain on standby, in a lot of ways. Unless the story itself is really interesting, like it genuinely captures my attention really well, I'm not really gonna be interested. Like, I'm not really gonna care too much. I'll still play them, but if it comes to a point where it's just like, I feel like I gotta, then I guarantee I'm not really gonna have that much fun. Even, like, playing this, it's just like, I haven't really been saying much about the game. It's just because it's like, I don't know, what do you really want me to say? Not a whole lot has happened. I mean, okay, I got a bike. Pokemon has had a bike since Gen 1. Not really a whole lot to say. I like having the bike. And I don't really have, like, too much I actually want to say more about, like, Sword and Shield. Not really. I mean, it's just like, in my eyes, it's just the whole thing with Mighty Keith, where he was making a video about like the whole reception about Pokemon Sword and Shield and how people were reacting and everything. And he ended it with, look, some of us got into Pokemon pretty casually, and many of us stayed casual. Being able to catch Pokemon, battle Pokemon, like, fight others, trade with others, it's just really all we're asking for. And I get, you can be let down, you can feel it as a genuine disappointment, and that's perfectly fine. But you don't have to come in here and look at us and say that we're wrong for liking it. That's all. And that's pretty much how I feel. It's just, I'm not as incredibly hyped or incredibly, you know, excited regarding Pokemon, especially now. Like, I have never even bothered to, like, look into trying to get Scarlet and Violet, simply because it's just, again, these games just don't really do it as much as they used to anymore. Okay, I've been realizing this kind of more and more, that I've been more straying away from turn-based strategy games for a couple reasons. One is interest, but two is also, the kind of people I have been surrounded around for a few years now have made playing RPGs and whatnot a little unbearable. And don't even get me started about the, kind of stuff I've had to deal with when it comes to Persona fans. It's just... And here's the thing, too, regarding the whole thing on Persona, right? Like, a lot of the times, it is mainly just because it is full of people who have a very much like an adolescent sense of humor and quote-unquote think they're funny. Now, again, I'm not saying that I'm the comedic genius or anything, right? But... you know, sometimes it's just like, you hear a joke once, and it's funny for a little bit, but then it just doesn't get funny. You know? It's like... how do I describe it? It's like that, okay, to bring it back up, right? That whole beggars can't be choosers thing. That was good for the moment, right? And yeah, that absolutely is being a clip. But... when it starts getting parroted, when it starts, like, when it starts getting clear that this is, like, the only, joke, when some people come to me, they're like, this is the only joke some people will have, it loses the humor. It does. And instead of it being a, you know, just as a funny joke and whatnot, it becomes just a joke that's dead and buried into the ground. And that's kind of how I feel when it comes to the Persona fandom, is that they have a tendency to just kill jokes and just bury them into the ground. Like, the reason why, in particular, like, I'll play, you know, games every now and then with, like, just my friends or whatnot, or just offline on my own time. I will refuse, on a number of occasions, to play Persona 5, because... I know the kind of reactions I'm gonna get, I know the kind of responses, I know the kind of jokes that are gonna be brought up, and it's like, in a vacuum it can be funny, but when you've heard them so many goddamn times, it's just like, okay, anything else but this, please. Anything else but this. Like, if I ever play a JRPG, if I ever play JRPG, if I play most turn-based strategy games, it's usually just by myself. because I don't really, because if I think something is funny, like, I got only myself to laugh, but if I don't think something is funny, or if I think something is an overplayed joke, then I just don't fucking bother with it, and I just move on. But some people just don't really kind of feel like that. And those people, unfortunately, it's just like, it's kind of hard to it's kind of hard for me, because it's just like, part of me wants to say this to a group of people, but at the same time, there's also that fear of, oh god, I'm just gonna come off as a total fucking asshole for ruining their fun and everything. And that's kind of the duology, that's kind of duology I'm caught with between. It's just like, there are things I just don't want to participate in, there's just things I just don't want to do, or, like, really involve myself in. But at the same time, it's like, I just don't want to be that person that goes, if I don't think it's fun, right? If I don't think it's funny, by extension, you can't fucking do that. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be the fucking fun blocker, you know? I don't want to be the, for lack of a better term, I don't want to be the fun Nazi. I don't. This is, like, genuinely, this is why I don't bother to shut my friends up or anything when they're talking about stuff that I don't really care about. Like, Trails of series, right? I don't really care too much about the Trails of series. I don't. And I have no real intention to play them. But at any point during that conversation, jokes aside, at any point during that conversation, go back and look. At what point did I ever say to Sonic or anyone else, can we just shut the fuck up about Tales of? Or the Trails of series? The answer is none. Because I know how much it means to them. And it's just like, you know, if they want to talk about it, go off. I'll just be here playing my own thing. And yeah, I throw in, like, you know, jokes every now and then, but that's only just because it's just... it's just, like... I don't know, just to kill the time. Just at times, you know, it's just like... Just playing this game alone, it kind of... It kind of gets to the point where my brain just kind of half focuses on what I need to do, and a lot of the times it doesn't really matter. And so it's just like, I gotta find a way to entertain myself. Like, that's the big thing with a lot of the comedy and a lot of the focuses. With a lot of the comedy I focus on. It's very much a case of, like, if it makes me laugh, or if I think it's funny, I'll just go for it. That's why, if I'm, like, in a game, like an open world game with puzzles and everything, and I'm in a call with other friends, I will deliberately go out of my way to just not bother solving them correctly, or just do the wrong shit. Not because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but just because, wouldn't it be funny if I just acted like I didn't? You know? Some people could say that's not funny, but personally, I think it's some of the funniest shit ever. It's a lot, and personally, I think it's a lot more entertaining and enjoyable, more of an enjoyable time, as opposed to someone who constantly knows everything about the game and does everything right. Things like that are just like... Sometimes those things can just end up being, like, really monotonous to me. That's why I can't really get into, a lot of Evo sports, particularly like FPS Evo sports, or even fucking other certain Evo sports like League or stuff, right? Because it's full of people who know what the fuck they're doing, but it doesn't really come off as genuinely interesting that way. It doesn't to me. In comparison to a game like, say, Tekken, where, yeah, you have people who know what they're doing, but not just because it's a fighting game, but also because, like, it is that back and forth aspect, but also just how interesting of a spectacle games like Tekken are to watch, you know? Like, a bigger thing regarding, like, the whole thing of why in particular is just, like, Pokemon in my eyes is not really entertaining to watch. Not really. It's not really entertaining to watch, and 100% I can believe if people are just like, yeah, I don't really want to watch you play Pokemon, if you're not really doing anything interesting, it's not really all that entertaining to me. I get it. You know, I get it, because it's just like, what is there to be entertained by when it comes to somebody who's already played the fucking game, you know? It's like, what do I do to make things more interesting? And one way is to actually have some commentary or some conversation that's not even about the fucking game, just conversations. At the very least, that's something different. At the very least, it's something interesting that you wouldn't usually get if you just watch somebody played a normal Pokemon game. Yeah. Like, I mean, the bright side to these games being, you know, honestly in my eyes pretty boring to actually, like, not just watch, but also kind of play at times, because it's again, it's baby's first RPG, and it gets really fucking easy. Like, oh, I'm at a water gym, and these are water-type Pokemon. What do? Oh, I use a grass-type. Oh, look at that. It's super effective, and he's almost dead. Like, that's the extent. That is the extent of brain power that you need to put in regards to Pokemon a lot of the times. But yeah, because of this, it's just, it also can just open, like, my brain to just like, oh man, what should I talk about, you know? Like, should I talk about something? Should I talk about, like, what can I talk about? And, you know, it just gets me to think about some stuff. Like the other day, you know what I haven't really thought about in a long while? Mr. Rogers. I know it's weird, but genuinely, like, I hadn't thought about Mr. Rogers in a long time, and then I get recommended this, like, Black Dynamite animated clip about their interpretation of Mr. Rogers. And like, Mr. Rogers ultimately was a little he was before my time, but he was just around the time when I started, you know, being able to actually cognitively, like, remember shit. That was around the time he had died. And I knew about Mr. Rogers through stuff like anniversaries and pre-recordings of the show. And stuff like that. And years later, I would eventually go back and, like, watch more of his content and whatnot. And Mr. Rogers was always, like, to me, just this... He was... If I had it best to describe it, he was the kind of guy who was the next-door neighbor. But not just any next-door neighbor. He would be the next-door neighbor that bakes way too many brownies, Steve. Like, way too many brownies... or not even, like, too many. He just bakes a plate of brownies. And he knocks on your door and says, "Hi, neighbor. I made some brownies. I can't eat all of them, and I was wondering if you'd just like to have some brownies." Not even, like, expecting anything to return. Just because he was just that kind of guy. He was just a nice guy. Like, most people, when it comes to, you know, being a celebrity or something, right, or being an entertainer, normally want to set a good example. Like, they want to set a good example for themselves and for their, like, the people who look up to them. And that's fine. Mr. Rogers didn't set an example. He was the example. He was the example to follow. By all accounts. Like, you look at the man's history, and it is just, this man was a saint. By all accounts. Like, he never swore that much. I think the most he swore, if I recall correctly, was he said once, to himself I think, it was, "Mercy." And nowadays, you hear the word mercy and it's just like, well, that's not really a swear word. But back in the day, language changes, and our idea of what is, foul language actually changes along with it. Yeah, like, I would know something like that. I mean, my slogan is, we don't care who you are as long as you're not a cunt. It's not like, it's not like I'm not exactly Mr. Rogers myself. But, ultimately, it's like, Mr. Rogers was by all accounts, he was a good man. Like, he didn't really, if I recall correctly, he didn't really take any endorsements. Or at the very least, endorsements that were, like, negative endorsements in terms of impacting, like, children or younger audiences. He wasn't really that kind of guy. I think, one thing I remember most is that I think Burger King tried to use his likeness for an endorsement, and he got mad about that, because Burger King wasn't necessarily something that he particularly like wanted to endorse or anything. It was just kind of something that, I mean, it wasn't really something that he thought, like, because most of my entertainment and whatnot is marketed to kids. It wasn't. I think it was just not something he really wanted to promote to kids. And I kind of, honestly, I kind of respect it. I kind of respect it. So, why this comes back to it is that, if I recall correctly too, Mr. Rogers was also someone who, like, knew more or less there were going to be people that were going to make parodies of him. Or at the very least, there were people that, tried their hand at making parodies of him. And he was a good sport. If I recall, he was a good sport about a lot of the stuff that was made about him. Provided it wasn't simply just edgy or shocking for the sake of being edgy or shocking. A lot of the times, when it came to, like, actual, like, parodies or satire of his character that he wanted, as long as it kept in mind of who he was or his particular character that he showed to public, in some way, shape, or form, I don't think he minded it too much. Like, and then cut to Black Dynamite. Black Dynamite. Yes, he is it's a very sort of, like, they go off with him, making him the most, like, trustworthy, friendly, he wouldn't hurt a fly kind of individual. And they do make a parody of him. But, like, behind closed doors and whatnot, they had this scene where he was surrounded by a bunch of, like, PBS, like, network executives who were trying to get him to push for, like, getting kids addicted to, like, sugary products and whatnot, and endorsing bad influential media. Like, stuff that was very much just like, oh man, it's like, it's very clearly supposed to be, like, adult entertainment and whatnot, just marketed to kids. And the whole thing with that is that he just didn't, like, Mr. Rogers in that just didn't really think that was, like, really great or anything. Like, it felt he was, like, he just started losing his mind and everything. He starts talking to himself into the mirror. It's just like, I told you, they don't understand what it means to raise, they don't understand what it means to be a good influence to the kids like we do. We knew that it would come to this. We always said to ourselves, if they're not going to be able to shield kids from all the bad in the world, it has to be you. And he fucking just kills a bunch of, like, PBS executives just out of the fact that they were going out of the way to promote fucking, like, just bad influence and bad endorsements for kids and whatnot. It's like, yeah, Mr. Rogers would never, in my eyes, he would never kill, like, somebody in cold blood like that shit. No. But at the same time, it's just, like, the context of him just going out of his way to do something like that in order to protect kids is, like, honestly, it's dark, it's shocking, but at the same time, it is also something where it's just like, yeah, that like it is very much in line with like Mr. Rogers' characters. Like he wasn't someone who endorsed like bad influence or bad things to show to kids or anything. He was somebody that was a good influence for kids. Oh yeah. Mr. Rogers was a Mr. Rogers was a good person. Like, I think there was a story long ago. I don't know if this was true or not, but I 100% like, if it is true, that's insane how true it is. That's insane. But if it's not, I mean, it's kind of funny when you really, it's kind of a funny story either way. There was a story of potentially, I think, like Mr. Rogers having his car stolen. But when they realized it belonged to Mr. Rogers, they not only brought it back, I think they cleaned it, and they might have cleaned it. I think they filled the tank, and they wrote an apology note that said, "Sorry, we didn't know it was your car," which I have no idea how true that is. But at the same time, it's just like the fact that there's a story like that exists is just like it just brings a smile to my face on some level. Oh man. Yeah. And also Mr. Rogers show. It was a very, like, I do remember a lot about it. And the fact that it stuck with me for so long, I think, says so much. And I think the fact that it's stuck with so many people for so long says so much, you know? The one story I do remember, like, that I just remember so vividly is, so to those who don't know, there was this very old gorilla that knew sign language. It was a very friendly-esque kind of, a very friendly gorilla, and was taught sign language and everything, and, you know, watched some actual, like, media on television and everything. And that gorilla in particular was called Coco. Some of you will probably know what already know what I'm talking about and already ahead of me, but Coco the gorilla was a gorilla that actually did watch a lot of Mr. Rogers among the amount of media that she indulged in. And you know, if you know about like Mr. Rogers' show, to those who don't know, he starts off the show singing, "It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood." And while he's doing that, he's taking off his shoes and putting on his I forget if they were loafers, but I think he was putting on slippers. But either way, he was just taking off his shoes, singing the tune, and he was getting ready for the show. And the story I really loved about it, around him most, was that because Coco saw the show so much, and saw it so many times, Coco actually got to meet Mr. Rogers. And when he came into to see Coco, the first thing Coco did when he came up to him was untie his shoes. And that's really just, it's just really sweet that something like that happened, you know? Now, I know I'm not a perfect individual, you know? I know I'm not, like... I know I'm not the picture of Grace in Under Fire. I know I'm not Mr. Rogers. And I could never really, in my eyes, really be on the same level in terms of, like, a good character in my eyes. The same kind of character. Because I'm my own person. I can't really be a Mr. Rogers for somebody else. Not really. I'm still inexperienced with a lot of life that it's just like I don't really think I don't really think I really have that much to teach regarding life or anything. I don't. I don't think so. I think I need a lot more experience in life before I even try to go down that route. I can tell you about things that I know, but I just don't think I can. I just don't think I'm a great example for like, oh yeah, this like follow me in terms of like teachings and everything. Like, no, I'm still a very inexperienced individual. I'm in my 20s, you know, so I can't really talk very philosophical or anything. I don't really think I have the right to. But if there is one thing I could be, on some level, behind all of the jokes, behind all of the snark, behind all of the sass and everything, right? Behind all of the wit. If there's one thing I could choose to be, it is a person who does his best to live his life right. That's the best I could be. Like, not ending up, you know, in prison, obviously, but, you know, not texting minors, like, very inappropriately, not jeopardizing certain friendships I have over certain things and whatnot, like, not doing anything like that. Not just because, not simply for a matter of, like, oh, man, like, I know Mr. Rogers wouldn't do that, not simply that, but just because it doesn't feel right. It wouldn't feel right to do kind of something like that. It wouldn't feel right to just, like, just do something that fucking shitty to me. It's not a matter of whether or not someone who I could look up to approves of it. It's a matter of whether or not it feels right or wrong to me. And personally, it just doesn't feel right to do something like that, to cross those lines. Yeah, so maybe I'm not a perfect person, you know? Maybe I will say something that's kind of fucked up every now and then. Maybe I make a mistake and people look at me differently, but as long as, more or less, my life so far leads me down a path where, essentially a path where I can just honestly be myself and not really, and that version of myself not really hurting anybody, right? Not really causing problems for anybody, not really harming anybody. I don't think there's really much I can look back at and go, yeah, I lived a shitty life. I was a shitty person, or I was an asshole. I was a terrible person. No. I think very much that, you know, if my life as it is now, I'm not talking about, like, certain living situation or whatnot. I'm talking about, like, just my life currently as is with my friends and my family. If it is as is now, as it is if I wake up tomorrow and I'm 50, right? And that's how it is, I don't really think I'll have much to complain about in the grand scheme of things. I think relatively, if it comes to that, I don't know if the right answer to say is when, because, you know, ultimately, like, I have come to terms with the very likely possibility that I could just, one of these days, just no longer be here. I know it's sad to think about and sad to talk about, but I have come to terms with that being the truth. And all I can really do about that is just kind of do my best to live my life to the fullest. And if I have to set an example for people, right? If I have to actually, like, try my damnedest at something to try and leave an impression of myself on the world, then, you know, not being a total waste of fucking oxygen on this world by actually being someone who, at the very least, knows right from wrong. I don't know if I can set an example, but at the very least, someone who knows right from wrong. Then, I think I'll be fine with that. I am very aware this is not all that funny. I am very aware of this, and I won't apologize, because among everything else, I mean, like, before all of the comedy, before all of the, you know, the banter I trade with my friends and everything, I'm still just a person, you know? I'm still just a person with my own thoughts and feelings. I'm still just a person, and I'm capable of being real. If I'm with my friends and everything, and, you know, it's contextually speaking, it's, like, there's not really a whole lot to instigate, like, you know, instigate me actually being real, then by all accounts, I will just be a shitter. I will just by all accounts, just be a funny man, sure. But if I'm by myself, sure, I can be funny, but if I'm by myself, or if I'm with friends in certain moments and whatnot that are just like, yeah, maybe not, it's not the right time to actually be funny, then I don't think it's right to keep up that kind of act, or keep up that kind of character. To me, that's the most important thing regarding, like, in my eyes, a public appearance, is that know when to call it fucking quits. Know when to stop. And, you know, it's like, it's one thing if, you know, you're just doing something stupid with your friends and whatnot. But it's another one, genuinely, it's just a moment where it's just like, comedy is not really the answer for the kind of person that you should be right now. And if you can't manage to, you know, be serious, if you can't manage to actually be, like, actually, like, decent, honest person outside of all that, if you can't manage that, then sometimes, I mean, in some games, ellipses is a response option in games for a reason. Because sometimes, shut the fuck up. Oh, yeah. Other than that, so I found out that, not too long ago, I think it was last week or this week, I forget which, but, my Dress Up Darling finished. I read that, and I was like, it just blindsided me that that was not the ending, but just that it happened when it did. It's not a bad ending. I really love the ending to My Dress Up Darling, but it really feels like, if you read it, and you understand where I'm coming from, it's just like, you kind of feel like it's one of those endings where it's just like, how sometimes certain endings will go on for, like, certain endings to series will come after the series goes on for a little too long, or like way too long, or whatnot. It feels kind of the opposite, in my eyes. It doesn't feel like it was cut short. It doesn't feel like it was rushed. It just feels like I wish there was more. If that makes any sense. But after reading it, I was just like, okay, so with this marks Uzaki-chan, Nagatoro, Komi-san, and My Dress Up Darling all concluded now. by all accounts, that is 4 introvert and extrovert romance series that are done. My thought process is, I mean, what's gonna be the next one, you know? Because by all accounts, like, when it came to rom-coms, they were kind of the big series that a lot of people focused on. And now, they're done. I don't know. Wait, hold on. Okay. Sorry, I thought there was something at the door. It's just my imagination. Anyway. I think this is a good time. So I know I really haven't come out with too many, like, videos and whatnot recently. Because there's quite a few projects that I'm kind of backed up on. One of the projects in particular, I have put further on the back shelf, and it's one I wanted to do last year that was going to be over an hour long that I have to, like, sort of revise quite a bit. Just because it's just like, I'm not doing a fucking hour-long video on my schedule. Are you kidding me? But there is a video I am working on that is, I will just say, it's gonna be unlike the videos I have done before on a number of anime series and whatnot. It's a video regarding 3 of my favorite animated films. And I decided to go down the route of talking, like, in length more about a particular subject and a particular, like, event that had happened with one of the people that was in charge of making it. And yeah, it's just one of those videos that I made where it's just like, I think this might be, I don't know, this might be a little weird for some people, because I think this might be a little, yeah, I've never really done a video like what I'm currently doing right now, and even now I'm a little nervous, because it's just like, I don't know if by the time I finish it's gonna be like, do I want to release it, or is this gonna be a waste of my time? I don't know. I'm still working on it. I'm just hoping that by the end of it, by the end of me working on it, that I'll most likely still want to actually release it, is the thing. I don't know. But also regarding, like, videos, like, around anime and manga reactions, it's not that I don't have any ideas or any projects. In fact, I have quite a bit I could do, honestly. But I guess it's sort of an editor's block, I guess. An editor and a writer's block, where it's like, I don't really feel the drive right now to do too many of those. I might just, by all accounts, I might just be focused more on actually making art this year, as opposed to talking about anime and manga from already kind of how it's turning out. And honestly, I've been fine with that. I think I've been slacking a little too much on my art, in my opinion, and I want to create some more works. So yeah, if this year ends up being very, like, lacking in terms of, like, anime or manga videos that I do, and in place there's just a bunch of artworks that I do, I don't think I'm necessarily going to really complain. I don't think so. I guess my biggest hope regarding anything for this is that what I do want out of this, like out of this year in particular, is honestly to get a lot more talkative when I do streams. And I don't mean constantly taking up the stream every fucking time or so. No, I just mean like moments like these where it's like there's a lot of time and I could spend where I'm actually talking and actually having a conversation or something, or like keeping you guys informed and whatnot about what I want to do. And I just don't. So that's kind of what I hope to, at the very least, going forward, is like actually bring up some topics and bring up some stories where it's just like, yeah, this is what I do want to talk about, and this is what I do want to focus on. Like that whole thing with Mr. Rogers. It was just like, it was something I hadn't thought about in a long time, but then it was just like something I looked back on and was just like, wow. And I just kind of wanted to talk my head off about it. I don't know. Recently, I have heard about this, and I am interested to see where it goes, but I have heard about the new Avatar series that's being put in the works. I'm interested. I just hope that it's most likely, if I recall, it's gonna be, I don't know, I feel like it might just be done by Nickelodeon. If that is the case, although I 100% imagine in this day and age it's probably just going to be streamed, but I imagine 100% in this day and age, if it is done by Nickelodeon, I really hope they do a better job of treating this show than they did with Legend of Korra, because in my eyes, I feel like that's why the series, like, just could not, it just fucking flopped in a lot of ways. Was that, by all accounts, it was just like the fucking network just didn't treat the show schedule really with the time it needed. In my eyes. I don't know. Alright. I think that's a good place to stop. I know it's a little under the actual time of when I usually stop, but I mean, at this point, it's just like, I think that it's a good place to stop. But yeah. Yeah. I mean, tomorrow I got stuff to do and whatnot, so I'm not really gonna be in the mood to actually stream, I think. I don't know. But yeah, I've got some things I need to take care of, and I got some things I need to think about, so I think relatively we might, I have been kind of, like, more lax on streaming recently, and I kind of like that personally, so that, because the reason why in particular I don't really try to stick too much to a schedule anymore, I tried that last year, but the reason why in particular is because I feel like, one, it's very much a hobby that I'm treating like a job. That's a bad call. But two, it's really easy for me to get fucking burnt out by doing that, so... Anyway, I'm gonna take off. Thank you all so much for joining me. I have Blue Sky, I have Cara, I have an Artstation for my portfolio. If you want to support me, if you want to help out the channel and everything, ko-fi.com/theartsozo-sha. And currently I have commissions opened. However, I'm just going to say this right now, come the end of April, I will be closing commissions for the time being. So if you are wanting me to, wanting me to draw something you want or something, yeah, if you want to head down and check out, like, request commissions, request me to do stuff, or commission me to draw you something, you got until the end of April. So there you go. Anyway, other than that, if you want to see me and my friends play some party games and whatnot, or some games, like just multiplayer games or something, you can check us out on twitch.tv/cafeautumn. So, yeah. Other than that, yeah, that's, you can feel free to subscribe, I guess, but, yeah. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you all later, and remember, you're always welcome at Cafe Autumn, as long as you're not a cunt. Take care.